I was driving home on an empty Texas highway when I saw something small moving on the roadside. When I got closer, I found a barefoot 4-year-old with "Lucas, call 911" written on his hand. And what his mother did to save him changed my entire life. My name is Dale Harmon. I'm 52 years old, and this is the story of how I found a crying child abandoned on a desert road, how I discovered his mother's desperate act of love, and how one moment of stopping my truck when I could have kept driving transformed me from a lonely cowboy into something I never thought I'd be. I need to start with who I was before that night. Marfa, Texas, October 2023. I'm a ranch hand, have been my whole life. 400 acres of cattle land, mesquite, and empty sky. Been married once, divorced in 2019. No kids. Just me and my dog Ringo in a house that's too quiet. My routine was simple. Wake before sunrise, feed the cattle, mend fences, check water tanks. Then every evening around 6, I'd get in my truck and drive. Not going anywhere specific, just driving. US 90 highway, radio playing old Merle Haggard, windows down, desert wind coming through. I told myself I liked the solitude, told myself I'd chosen this life. 52 years old, and I'd convinced myself that alone was enough. Tuesday evening, October 17th. Sun was setting. I was 12 miles outside Marfa on US 90. Empty road, desert on both sides, nothing but scrub brush and distant mountains. My headlights caught something on the roadside. Small, moving. I slowed down, squinted. A child. I hit the brakes, pulled over, gravel crunching under my tires, killed the engine, got out. A little boy, maybe 4 years old, barefoot, wearing shorts and an oversized t-shirt, sitting on the shoulder of the highway, crying, but not making sound. The kind of crying that happens when you've been crying so long your voice gives out. I approached slowly. Didn't want to scare him. "Hey, buddy. Hey, I got you," I said quietly. He looked up at me. Didn't run. Didn't move. Then he reached for me, grabbed onto my leg like I was the only solid thing in the world. I picked him up. He was light, too light, clung to my shirt with both hands. I looked around, both directions. No cars, no houses, no lights. Nothing but empty desert and the sound of wind. That's when I saw his hand. Black permanent marker. Written across his palm, "Lucas, call 911." Someone had written that. Deliberately, before leaving him here. My stomach dropped. I carried Lucas to my truck, put him in the passenger seat, grabbed my phone, called 911. Dispatch answered. "I'm on US 90, 12 miles east of Marfa. I found a child, alone. He's maybe 4 years old. He has 'call 911' written on his hand," I explained. "Is he injured?" the dispatcher asked. "He's scared, dehydrated, but he's okay. I need someone out here now," I stated. Sheriff's deputy arrived 20 minutes later. Deputy Rick Salazar, known him for years. "Dale, what have we got?" Rick asked, approaching my truck. Found him sitting on the shoulder, barefoot, alone. Someone wrote his name and 911 on his hand, I explained. Rick looked at Lucas, looked at me. "We need to get him to the hospital. Presidio County. You coming?" "Yeah," I said without hesitation. At the hospital, they checked Lucas over. Physically, he was okay. Dehydrated, exhausted, terrified, but no injuries. He didn't talk much. 4 years old. But he kept saying one thing over and over. "Mama said wait. Mama said someone will come." His mama had left him there, deliberately. And she'd told him someone would come. This wasn't random abandonment. This was something else. Child Protective Services arrived. Ms. Patricia Owens, mid-50s, professional, kind but firm. "Lucas will need to go into temporary foster care while we investigate," Patricia explained. I heard myself say, "He can stay with me." Patricia looked at me. "Sir, are you a licensed foster parent?" "No," I admitted. "Then that's not possible under state law," she said gently. Lucas grabbed my sleeve, wouldn't let go. 3 days later, Rick called me. We found the mother, Jennifer Reyes, 24 years old. She was in Odessa, motel room, alone, Rick explained. "Is she under arrest?" I asked. "No, it's complicated. You should come down to the station. She's asking to talk to whoever found Lucas," Rick said. I drove to the sheriff's office. Jennifer was in an interview room. Young, exhausted, eyes swollen from crying. Rick let me sit in. "Thank you for finding my son," Jennifer said immediately, looking at me. "Why was he on that highway?" I asked directly. "Because I had to get him away from his father, Troy Mercer, Lucas's dad. He's violent, controlling. I've tried to leave 3 times, 3 different shelters. He found me every time. Used Lucas to control me. Threatened to hurt him if I left," Jennifer explained, voice shaking. "So you left Lucas on a highway," I said, not hiding my anger.
"I left him where trucks pass, where good people drive. I wrote on his hand so whoever found him would know to call for help. I told him someone would come, someone kind. Then I ran the opposite direction. I led Troy away from Lucas. If Troy found me with Lucas, he'd use him against me. If I disappeared alone, Lucas would be safe," Jennifer explained. Rick added, "Troy Mercer was arrested yesterday in El Paso. Separate charges. Aggravated assault on Jennifer's brother, who tried to help her escape." I stared at Jennifer. "You left your son on a road to save him?" "I left him with a prayer that someone like you would find him," she said quietly. Jennifer did face charges initially. Child abandonment is a felony in Texas, regardless of circumstances. But her attorney argued duress, and with Troy's documented history of violence and the evidence of his threats, the DA eventually dropped the charges. It took months, but the system finally saw her for what she was, a victim who made an impossible choice. Patricia pulled me aside. "Dale, we have a problem. There are no available foster homes in Presidio County right now. Lucas will have to go to Midland, 2 hours away." "He just lost his mother. Don't send him away from the only person he feels safe with," I argued. "You're not licensed," Patricia reminded me. "Then license me. Emergency temporary placement, whatever it takes," I said. Patricia looked at me for a long time. "Mr. Harmon, you understand this is a lengthy process. We're talking months. Training, home inspections, background checks, interviews. It won't be quick." "I understand," I confirmed. The months that followed became the most important of my life.
Lucas didn't talk much the first day, just sat on my couch holding Ringo. Second day he played with the dog in the yard, threw a ball, laughed when Ringo brought it back. Third day I took him out to the ranch, showed him the horses. He smiled. First real smile I'd seen. Fourth day he asked me to read him a bedtime story. I didn't have kids' books, read him from a Louis L'Amour western. He fell asleep halfway through. By the second week, Lucas was calling me Mr. Dale. By the third week, just Dale. I realized something during those weeks. I'd never made breakfast for anyone before, never put a booster seat in my truck, never had to think about bedtime routines or whether there was juice in the fridge. For 52 years, I'd convinced myself that being alone was my choice, that I liked the quiet. Lucas shattered that lie in the best possible way. Months later, Jennifer had stabilized. She was in a domestic violence shelter, had a job. Troy was in jail awaiting trial. CPS scheduled a meeting. Dale, Jennifer, Patricia, all in one room. Jennifer has completed her safety plan requirements. She's eligible to regain custody of Lucas, Patricia stated. My heart broke. I'd known this was temporary, known Lucas wasn't mine, but the months we'd spent together were long enough to feel like he was. Jennifer looked at me. I want my son back, but I don't want to take him from the first safe person he's ever known. She turned to Patricia. Is there a way both of us can be in his life, officially? Patricia hesitated. Co-parenting between a biological parent and a foster parent is unusual, but not impossible. Jennifer continued, You're the man I prayed for when I left Lucas on that road. I prayed for someone good, someone who would hold him when he was scared. You did that. I can't take him away from you, but I can't stay away from him either. I looked at Jennifer, really looked at her. She wasn't a bad mother. She was a mother who'd made an impossible choice to save her child. What are you proposing? I asked. Shared care. You get licensed as his foster parent. I maintain custody. We split time. You teach him to be strong. I teach him he's loved. Together, we give him what neither of us can give him alone, Jennifer explained. It took nearly a year to arrange. Multiple court hearings, social worker evaluations, psychological assessments for both Jennifer and me. The judge didn't make it easy. He questioned everything, and rightly so. But eventually, after months of proving ourselves, Presidio County Court approved a shared care arrangement. It was unconventional, the judge made that clear, but he also said the evidence showed it was in Lucas's best interest. Lucas spent weekdays with Jennifer in town, weekends with me on the ranch. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. October 2024, 1 year after I'd found Lucas. I drove out to US 90, same stretch of highway, parked on the shoulder exactly where I'd found him. Got out, stood there. Desert wind, empty road, sunset. If I hadn't been driving that night, if I'd been 5 minutes earlier or later, if I'd convinced myself it was just a coyote and kept driving. One decision. Brake instead of gas, stop instead of keep going. Changed everything. Here's what I learned, and what I need you to understand. Jennifer didn't abandon Lucas. She made the most agonizing sacrifice a mother can make. She let him go to keep him safe, trusting that someone would care for him when she couldn't. That's not weakness. That's the kind of love that breaks you, but saves the person you love most. I also learned that loneliness isn't always a choice. Sometimes it's just what happens when you haven't met the person who needs you yet. I spent 52 years thinking I preferred being alone. I was wrong. I was just waiting for someone to need me. Lucas needed me. And I didn't know how empty my life had been until he filled it. Most importantly, life puts moments in front of us. A child on a roadside, a stranger who needs help, a split-second choice between stopping and driving past. Those moments define who we are, far more than the years we spend in routine. I could have kept driving, told myself someone else would stop, that it wasn't my problem. But I hit the brakes. That one decision gave me a purpose I didn't know I'd been missing for 5 decades. Every good person's story has that moment, when they stopped when it would have been easier to keep going. That moment of stopping is what separates people who mean well from people who do well. I'm not a hero. I'm just a cowboy who hit the brakes. But sometimes that's exactly what being a hero means. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and tell me which country you're watching from. I love hearing from all of you. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss these powerful stories about impossible choices, unexpected families, and understanding that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop when everyone else keeps driving. New story every single day that will make you think, feel, and connect. See you in the next one. Take care.